Joining us now from Lagos is J.R. Kanu, founder and CEO of Reach, the company behind the report. J.R., what millennials currently spending, is it financially sustainable?
So right now it looks like it could be sustainable, right? Because you can see that the trends are clear that people will keep doing what they've been doing in terms of looking for more ways to make money, whether it's through borrowing or through digital betting, which are big trends we've seen in Kenya, and we expect to see those grow in Nigeria as well.
And what are some of the habits that you see growing?
Oh, so like I just mentioned, digital betting and borrowing. So we know that there's a big need for consumer credit in the African space, and we can see some companies getting into that to offer that option for people. Now, what I expect to see will be ATMs falling in Nigeria because more people will be doing those transfers, as you can see how strong peer-to-peer transfers are in Kenya. But we also expect to see some more online betting and borrowing happening in Nigeria. So right now it's not, borrowing is not one of the top 10 in Nigeria, but we expect to see that change in 2019.
JR, why do the research in the first place?
So as a company that helps people manage their money across all these countries, it's important to help people get a sense of where they rank. As humans, we're always curious how we're doing compared to our counterparts. So having this was a fun thing for us to do at the end of the year to show, hey, these are two large economies on the continent. How do millennials behave and how do millennials spend across the two? So we did this study as a way to give people a sense, including people who want to invest in Africa. The fact that you tend to hear this is the dark continent, there isn't enough data, but letting people know that the data exists to make some smart decisions about where to put your money as a spender or as an investor.
Let's just then expound on that a little bit more. How can small businesses use then this information to make better investment decisions?
So a great example is a juice manufacturer called me up after seeing this report, and he said, "Thank you so much for this because I've been wondering how to price my juice." And since the typical transaction size at a restaurant, at least in Nigeria, is 1,850, he knew that he couldn't take more than about 350 to 500 of that space. So that gives him what, about 25 to 30% of the spending at a restaurant. So this data can be helpful to people who need to price and helping them know, how do I put my pricing in a way that helps people make the most of the money that they do have? Because, as you know, money on the continent is a little tight.
How do you see these trends affecting investment decisions in the future?
So I think we've already seen some of the trends where companies that had models in other markets come through to Africa and have to change their models. So you'll see that the transaction sizes have to be significantly smaller. So the packaging will be smaller. We'll see people doing more frequent but smaller transactions. So investors who are trying to set up companies here direct to consumer will have to think of ways to make their offerings bite-sized. So something that would have cost maybe $100 in a different market, you might need to think about how to create a bite-sized version of it that can be bought for $5 or $10.
That was insightful. Thank you, Jay.